And we're live. So I got miles to go and only a little bit of time to really jump into this. So what I'm going to do is I got about 4 or 5 different concepts that have been rattling around in my brain that I wanted to get out. Testing out another new setup. I got a new lens, seeing how this looks and sounds. So let me know in the comments if you notice any difference between what this looks like versus what my other recordings have looked like. But I got about 4 different topics that have been rattling around, and I have to go get my kids here in about 15 minutes. So I want to get this off my chest, and made a promise to myself that I would be consistent with doing these. Try to get out 2 a week so I can get in the habit of recording myself, because it's something that if you don't do it, you end up falling off. And the reality is, if you're going to be a content creator, you got to offload, you got to get all the bad ones out of your way first so that you can really hit a groove with doing the good ones. And so, wherever this lands is where it lands. So, got a couple of different concepts I want to discuss. I don't have my notes exactly in front of me, so I'm kind of firing off the cuff here. First things first. There's in a conversation in the group on Facebook regarding Black Wall Street. And for those that don't know, Oklahoma, I believe it was Tulsa, 1921, had a thriving Black community that was really centered around business and a lot of other things. And basically, the entire town was destroyed by the white folks outside of the town who were jealous of the business that was going on. And there were other things at play. Racism played a huge part in that. That was the driving force behind it. But they were being outperformed in the competition for resources. They were they felt like they were coming up short, and they saw it as a zero-sum game as opposed to something where everybody could eat. And so they came and destroyed Tulsa, murdered a huge amount of the population, and then basically ran them out of their own homes, destroyed their businesses, buried them in mass graves, buried the Black citizens in mass graves, and then passed legislation so that they couldn't come and rebuild. And so they essentially took over their town and left them homeless. And so the conversation was, and I'm reading off my phone here. So basically it said 600 businesses, and understand this is a meme. I tell people not to go based off memes, but I'm using one. So anyway, 600 businesses, 21 churches, 21 restaurants, 30 grocery stores, 2 movie theaters, 2 private airlines, a hospital, a bank, post office, law offices, and even had a bus system. And they're asking what happened there that we can't duplicate now. And I didn't get into the geopolitical part of it. I didn't talk about the historical part of it because there's a lot of things that are there. But one of the trends I noticed was service businesses. Businesses where you're providing a service to somebody. Those are, in my estimation, or in my experience, I should say, are the businesses to start. If you're looking to start a business and your plan is to be independent of whatever job you're with, some kind of service business. Right now, I'm a consultant. That's a service business. I'm providing a service to somebody in exchange for money. I'm providing a service. A lot of us get sucked into retail kind of businesses, and people don't understand when you're doing retail or anything like that, you have to have, there's a lot of things, a lot of different variables that determine whether you're profitable or not. And inexperienced business owners, if they don't have their manage their cash flow as service business owners, that retail part can become very tricky. If anybody's ever done bookkeeping for a store or anything, you know what I mean, where it can be very confounding to figure out how much money you actually made, because you have to subtract price of retail. In some cases, you have to abandon retail, you have to throw it away and write it off. There's a lot of other things that go into it. You have to cost of goods landed, then you have to figure out how much you're charging clients for them. And a lot of people jump into the retail. A lot of people jump into restaurants. Restaurants are even different, because now you have to deal with food costs, and food can go bad, and you have to deal with a lot of oversight from the state, regulations about what temperature your fridges and freezers need to be. You need to make sure that you're not overbuying food. And so there's a lot of different elements that go into it. And so what I'm saying is this: if you're looking to make that jump, figure out a service that you can provide for somebody, and figure out who wants it, and that's the way to go. Um, and then you can get all of your reps in as somebody providing a service business and become a well-versed business owner before you take that next step and move into the more retail side of things. And so I'm looking at it in Oklahoma City. The trend was a lot of service-based businesses. I mean, you learn a skill and then somebody pays you for that skill. And that's very sustainable. And that's, you expand it by hiring people so that the business can run while you're not there. And now you've taken it to that next level. And so I'm thinking my big push for people, especially people that are consulting, asking about what kind of business to get into, figure out what kind of service you can provide to somebody, and then figure out how much you're going to charge for it. And that's the way to go. That's where you start. A lot of these business models nowadays that we see are built into that hustle culture kind of thing, where you're trying to extract value without putting any value in there, without providing any value to anybody. You're trying to extract value. And a lot of them end up costing people a lot of money. I do Merch by Amazon. Merch by Amazon is a good platform. I can put in designs, people order those designs, print them up, ship to their house. Simple. The difficult part, and Amazon takes, I forgot what the percentage is, but they take most of them. They take a good chunk of the money, but it's free. It doesn't cost me anything, except unless you're counting the amount of money that Amazon takes out of what they end up paying per shirt. But I don't have to provide any materials. I don't have to carry any inventory. I do my own design, so I don't even have to figure out that piece of it. And so, but the problem is there's a lot of people doing the same thing. And so you're going to spend a lot of money differentiating yourself in that market because it's kind of a commodity. You can get novelty t-shirts anywhere. You can get witty, funny t-shirts anywhere. Some people run the risk of they're out there getting copyrighted material and putting it on their t-shirts, and then they end up with takedown notices and all kinds of other stuff. And that ends up costing them more money because in some cases it can get litigious and they end up having to forfeit the money that they've already made, or they have to hire a lawyer to defend them in court. But services like that, where you're not exactly providing any value, you're just kind of extracting value, are difficult to get up and running. And I think that's one of the big problems with the kind of the hustle culture we're in right now, where people are looking to contribute minimum value and get maximum money out of it, not understanding that why those business models are profitable. They can make you money. They're also very difficult to get established, and they're hard to make consistent, because if it's easy to do it, easy to make money, the thing is you're going to have a lot of people coming in, and you're going to have a very difficult time differentiating yourself from those other people. So that maximum extraction of value or minimum effort, that's a tough road to pass. And so that's why I'm saying learn some kind of skill or something that you can apply, that somebody can pay you for, because a skill is what differentiates you, and you can set your own price point. And if you get somebody to buy into the value of what you're providing, then the money part is pretty much irrelevant, because they believe in the value of what you're providing. So if they have the money to compensate you for it, it's not even a conversation about money. So the Black Wall Street thing just kind of hit me, because I think, and I saw some of the answers, people talking about stocks and crypto and, real estate and things like that. And those do make money, and those do make people money. I'm not going to disparage the way people are making their cash flow. But what I will say is this. We're going back to that minimum amount of value added, maximum amount of value extracted. I could invest, 10,000 in crypto and get a return. Now, right now, it's one of those markets, and I believe they're going down right now. But for a while, it was one of those markets where anybody could make money with any level of knowledge about it. They didn't have to have any insider knowledge. They just had to have the money to put up. The stock market was like that for almost the last year, where anybody can make money. We're about to rotate, and I think this is the second part I'm going to get into. the second conversation I want to have at least. We're about to rotate. In my estimation, the economy is about to go into a rotation here. And a lot of the things that were booming in terms of like stocks and things like that, we're going to see an appreciable slowdown. Now, it may not happen tomorrow, it may not happen next week, but at some point in time, the market is going to rotate, and it's not going to be one of those situations where you don't have to know anything to make money, like it's been for the last year. And so, when that happens, one of the challenges that people come into, the people who don't really know the fundamentals of investing or anything, one of the challenges is they're going to find out fast that not knowing anything is going to hurt them. The market will rotate, and the people that don't know how to deal with that rotation are going to get punished. And that's kind of where we're heading into. And so it kind of dovetails back into my thing about businesses. Listen, if you out here doing your best with your 9 to 5, that more power to you. I want you to have all the success in the world. What I am saying is this: find a way to get some extra money in the house, because things is about to shift. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I feel like it's coming up. And so if you can find a way to get a little bit of extra cash into your house, please do so. Like I said, I could take $10,000 and invest it in crypto, or invest into a hot stock, or I can take that $10,000 and invest it into a business that's kind of proven for me and see where that goes. I trust my business a little bit more than I trust other investments. And one of the concepts that we get away from, especially when we're talking to business owners, is the concept of reinvesting back in your business. Now, I'm not saying plow all your available money back into your business. I am saying that there's a growth period where you need to keep money in your business and feed it like a little baby, and nurture it and grow it, and provide it the resources it needs to grow into a thriving business. I think a lot of this value extraction thing comes at the expense of, especially with the hustle stuff, people get a little bit of cash in their pocket with a business or a hustle, and the first thing they want to do is spend that money. They make $100,000. The first thing they want to do is figure out how to adjust their lifestyle up to $100,000 lifestyle, not understanding that probably. And now I'm getting into numbers, and so forgive me if I'm wrong, but you make $100,000, and now 40,000 of that has to go to taxes, especially if you haven't done your other due diligence with your business and making sure your write-offs are covering everything. So really, you've dropped from $100,000 to about 60. In some cases, $100,000 to 50, depending on what your overhead is for your business. And now you're living $100,000 lifestyle, but you only really made $40,000. And so now you're digging yourself into an even more vast hole. And I think a lot of that comes from that hustle mentality, where I got to hustle. I go out there and make the money. And then instantly, once the money's made, I go back and celebrate it, as opposed to, I made a little bit of money, I'm going to take a little bit of profit. This is the percentage I'm taking in profit. The rest of it needs to go back into the business to feed it, to sustain it, to make sure that it grows into something viable. So I know I hit about 3 or 4 different things. Really, this is repetition for me to get in the habit of coming and sharing my thoughts on camera. And so that's what that's about. If you have any experiences with business, any questions or concerns, leave a comment. My email is bsellswords@gmail.com if you want to get together for a consultation. I'm going to be setting up the Calendly link and stuff on my website this week, so that I can start booking out days for appointments. I've seen a couple come through, and so I want to make sure that I have a day blocked off just for that, so I can give adequate time to discuss, business and marketing with you. If you have any kind of marketing things that you need, or any questions about marketing, I'm available via consult. Especially if it's about finding your niche. I think that's one thing that a lot of that business owners don't do enough, is figuring out exactly who you're going to be selling to. Because if you can tap into the market of who, and you can have an audience of people that are always willing to buy your product, you're always going to be viable as a business, as long as you have good discipline in other areas. If you can figure out your who and market towards your who, you're going to be okay. So anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in. I will holler at y'all later. Peace.